G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. My sister is turning into the biggest bridezilla, and I can't stop laughing. So, a little background. I'm the second youngest of 5 kids. My older siblings are 2 brothers and 1 older sister, who we will call E for the purposes of this post. E and I have a 5-year age gap. As a result, we never really had that sisterly bond you would expect most sisters to have. Growing up, I was always a burden to her, and any time it was my turn to pick the family movie, or really anything, she would get upset. The reason being that she had control issues as early as 9. So I'm guessing you can already see where I'm going with this. I'm currently 18, about to turn 19, and E turned 24 earlier this year. Her boyfriend A proposed to her at a family beach day earlier in June of this year. It was one of those big white letters and rose petals proposals which he set up before my family arrived. She was thrilled, said yes, and my parents were very happy, along with my older siblings. The youngest is 4, so I don't think she understood what was happening. Now, here is the drama. Since the proposal, she has gone into full bridezilla mode. At the behest of my mum, E made me a bridesmaid, so I'm roped into all the BS. So far, these are the demands that my dear sister has made. 1. All bridesmaids are to pay for their own dress, a $300 dress in blush pink, shoes, hair, and makeup. 2. All bridesmaids need to attend all wedding and bachelorette events, including A. The bachelorette spa day, $800 each, B. The bachelorette vacation weekend to Toronto and stay at the Fairmont Hotel, $1,000 weekend just for the hotel. C. The dress appointments, even if just for the bride. All alterations covered by the person themselves, $300 dress plus approximate $300 alterations, etc. D. All things to do with the wedding, cake, venue, catering, etc. they need to attend. The cake and food tasting, they all need to pay $25. And E, the guests and the bride/groom party need to pay $150 to reserve their spots, and gifts have to be either cash, check, or from the list of registry items. She has a spreadsheet of what everyone is gifting, and has said that she will return items that aren't from her registry/match her theme. My mum says it's bride anxiety. I say it's just my sister trying to control everything because she wants a December wedding on a ski hill. Blair. Anyways, I figure if people are interested, I could update periodically on what happens. Thanks for reading. And edit, I realized I didn't include the controlling parts. My bad. Here they are. 1. All bridesmaids need to go to hair and skin appointments every 6 weeks to ensure that our hair and skin is flawless for pictures. It's out of pocket too. 2. Anyone with tattoos needs to cover them. Our dresses will do that. They go to the neck, ankles, and wrists. The bride wants to be the only one sleeveless/showing her tattoos and colorful hairstyle. Either we need to get our hair dyed to a natural color or wear a wig at our expense. 3. The dresses only come in sizes 00 to 10. Pretty good range for most, but those who don't fit are expected to try to lose weight. I'm a size 12 and already my sister is calling me fat. She sent me a keto diet book through Amazon. 4. No one, vendors, are to communicate directly to the bride/groom. It has to go through us first. She made a Gmail with last name wedding, which we all have access to, and we aren't supposed to ask her if something is okay. We should just know. This is the part that stresses mom out. And 5. We need to remind the guests that they need to pay a deposit of $150 to save their spot, and if we don't get it, they don't come. We also need them to confirm that they'll purchase from the registry or the dollar amount that they'll give. In the comments, bridezilla or not, she sure is selfish. These costs being expectations, I'd let your mum know that you need some money or you'd love to just be a guest. Even guests have to pay $150. There is not going to be anyone at this wedding, and it will be glorious. It seems like pay $150 and a gift. I hope that dude runs far away from this bride. Seriously about the groom, even if he's absent in the planning, he must be aware of some of these stipulations. How does he reconcile this insane, selfish behavior? Please drop out as a bridesmaid. Your mum can just say she can't control you. Tell your sister you love her, but due to commitments for school and finances, you won't be able to make her wedding the priority that it deserves. Say it without laughing. OP replies, "That's going to be hard. I stress laugh." Tell your mum and sister that you won't participate until someone pays all of your costs. Your mum should not try to keep the peace when your sister is a raging harpy. I hope her fiancé backs out. OP replies, "He won't. He loves her spice." He's a very calm man though, so they match really well. He's the only one who can calm her down. He says he loves her spice. I say he is comfortable enabling her to be the controlling, obnoxious one. Out of this whole damn family, how is it that the 18-year-old is the most reasonable, mature, and balanced? I don't know how you escaped the cycle, OP, but I'm proud of you. No matter how this whole wedding thing plays out, it shall pass and life will go on. Just keep being true to you and your values. OP replies, "I spend a lot of time with my aunt who dislikes my mum. They have sibling rivalry too." Honestly, if your aunt is legitimately in your corner, then you should ask her for advice. Don't listen to family that doesn't care about your feelings. Back up to the post, edit 2. Y'all are making me realize my family isn't normal. I'm going to look into therapy with my uni and seeing if I can move into residence earlier. I want to thank the person who private messaged me about getting my mum off my bank account and also get my birth certificate, etc. I think I'm going to do that after I talk to the people at the bank. I texted my mum, as I'm at work right now, if her, dad and I can talk about it while sister is gone to her fiancé's for the night. I'm hoping to show my mum and dad this post to help them understand where I'm coming from. Edit 3, I'm going to take some time away from this alt, just because a lot of you are right. This isn't normal. Our relationship as a family is not normal. I called my aunt while I was at work. For those of you who don't know, she's my godmother, and she thinks my mum is nuts. And we talked about it. She's encouraged me to talk to my parents about everything, not only the wedding, but favoritism, etc. since childhood, and she's also on standby in case things go to crap. My shift at work finishes in a few more hours, then I'll go home and pack a quick bag of stuff for my aunt to grab before my parents and I talk. And now, on to the update. First, I wanted to apologize for how long this has taken. My parents originally planned to talk that night, but Mum said she wasn't feeling good and decided to go to sleep early at around 6 p.m, and that feeling stayed for a while. We then got busy moving my sister into her fiancé's place, and by the time everything settled, my parents forgot we had something to discuss and kinda brushed it off to the side. We finally had the conversation 2 days ago, and I needed a day to think and just react to things. So without further ado, here is the update. So, turns out my dad never knew the whole story, as he knew he was responsible for paying for my sister's dress and a portion of the wedding or honeymoon. The reason for this is that my parents told me, and Dad confirmed with bank records, that my parents had been setting up 25k accounts for myself and each of my siblings. The rule was that these accounts could be used for anything once we turned 19 and went off to post-secondary. It was our money to use. I just turned 19, and my dad was getting ready to sign the money over to me when we had this conversation, which caused a bit of a blow-up. But right now, I need to give some background info that I was given. Right after sister got engaged, she apparently had a conversation with my mum about how she always felt like the child left out. She has used this line before, so I do believe that my mum felt for it and was guilt-tripped. As a result of a very long conversation, my mum figured that she could divert some of the funds from all of the kids' accounts to pay for my sister's wedding. And for those wondering, my 2 older brothers are in the military. They are not married yet, and they live on base. They never used their 25k because the army in Canada pays for your education, housing, etc. So my mum had 50k at her disposal. Then, combined with my sister's and my 25k, it would have been 100k. Mum figured that because I had 17k saved up, she could just give me my 25k later for a car or a house payment, or wedding. Bleh. Sister did this because, again, she is a master manipulator. Side note, thank you to the wonderful Redditors who sent me to various subreddits for narcissism and support, along with those who sent articles on it to me. And possible narcissist. She used some of my mum's mental and physical health conditions against her. When I was born, Mum went through very bad PPD, resulting in her leaving to a treatment facility for 4 months, leaving my sister, 2 brothers, me, and Dad behind. My older brothers were 9 and 7 at the time, and me only a few months. Sister, for reference, was 5 or just shy of 5. I honestly don't care to calculate. Since my brothers were trouble, my dad and his brother, my uncle, had his hands full. And a live-in nanny did all the stuff for me, so my sister had my aunt, who lived with us at the time, and got little to no attention from Dad at an age where attention is important. I think that triggered the bad sides of her to come out. While the nanny did help sister with basics, food, water, bath, clothes, a little play, she wasn't a replacement for Mum. Even my aunt wasn't a replacement for Mum despite her being there mainly for sister and sleeping in the same bed as her, helping her with homework, having girls' trips, etc. When Mum came back, sister had a huge grudge, but not to Mum, to me. I was the reason Mum left, which led her trying to smother me with a pillow. Mum caught her in time and it was a funny story for us as a family. Turns out, that is a coping mechanism. Over my childhood, sister has used manipulation to get what she wants, and she did it for the wedding too. Mum felt bad and decided to give her little dove everything that she desired. Common things I heard growing up were, "You always give me XYZ, I want this," proceeds to have a meltdown. As sister grew up, it wasn't little toys and candy anymore, but girls' trips. As a result of this, Dad and I grew very close. He is my best friend. My sister and I had a decent relationship when I was 12 to 14, but it again changed when Mum got pregnant with my youngest sister. It was an accident, and I became the target again for sister's rage and abuse. While I know that it doesn't excuse a lot of things, I figured that it would be important to give you the whole story, since I forgot some very important details in my last post, which I added later. A day after sister moved out, I asked my mum and dad to please finally have the convo with me. Mum was feeling better, so we sat down and we are talking. I told them how I felt, how much of a financial toll it would be on me, how it wasn't fair, etc. Well, Dad blew up. He didn't know about the 100K or the things that sister was doing, etc. He didn't like the fact that Mum used a lot of "your father and I agree" talk, even though they hadn't. I showed group chat screenshots. We worked through the wedding issue. I don't have to attend, and the 25K for me issue, Dad is signing it over early. Then I was asked to go to my room for a bit because Dad and Mum wanted to talk. They settled the budget issue on their own. Dad then asked why I didn't feel comfortable to talk to them earlier, so I showed them this post. My dad snapped. He immediately called my sister and told her to come here ASAP because he needed to talk to her and would not accept excuses. She said she would be here in 4 hours because she was with fiancé and his parents. Dad pressed, and she hung up and blocked him. Dad told me to go to my room once again, but to leave my phone so they could go over the post and see the comments. I don't know exactly what happened, but Mum came to talk to me later. She then told me about the PPD, etc. I didn't know about it earlier, and we solved our issues, and I finished by asking if sister would go to therapy. Because Mum's convinced that the 4-month leave caused this stuff in her, Mum said she would try but can't force. I told her if sister doesn't go, I'm going no contact with her and possibly low contact with Mum. Dad then joined the convo and assured me that I would get my money, and I wouldn't have to go to the wedding if I didn't want to. Since sister is charging $150 per guest, she can pay for her grandiose wedding through that. Soon-to-be brother-in-law and his family aren't paying for crap, apparently, so they now have to, or sister doesn't get to have her ski hill wedding. Speaking of the $150 fee, y'all were right. It was sister who concocted the whole thing and told Mum that it was an Italian thing. We talked to sister's mother-in-law when she dropped sister off. Sister doesn't drive, and mother-in-law was shocked that sister had said that. There is apparently a money dance, but no $150 fee. So, on to what happened when sister came back. She came after 5 hours, and while mother-in-law was there, she was sweet as pie. But when mother-in-law left, oh Lord, the gates to hell broke loose. She demanded to know why Dad disturbed the peaceful evening and demanded he drive her back. Dad said that he didn't care and to sit down. She refused, they fought. Finally, she sat down after Dad started pulling out various tricks, including money or telling mother-in-law about sister's true nature, which I guess fiancé hadn't seen much of. I was excused to my room again. There was a lot of angry yelling back and forth, and a lot of manipulation from sister, including threats of low contact or no seeing possible grandkids in the future. She was trying to get Mum to go back to original plan, 100K plan, and Mum and Dad weren't budging. The fighting continued and stopped when Dad yelled, saying Mum isn't her punching bag and her PPD was not her fault, and if she was that angry about it, then go to therapy. After that, I was called back down, and we went over all the issues, starting with the keto book. Sister tried to defend, saying that I was fat and lazy, but Dad defended me. Sister started to cry, and Mum told Dad to be a little softer, which he did. We finally discussed everything, and I felt like part of the family instead of like a punching bag. Sister eventually got an Uber and left because she was being attacked. We are going to wait until Christmas time when brothers are back in town so we can all discuss what we need as a family to go forward and to be healthy. But it will most likely be therapy or cutting sister out. Mum and Dad are still figuring out the full budget issue with my sister's in-laws. My parents told them that for such a wedding to happen, everyone would need to contribute. In-laws agreed that $100,000 for a wedding is insane. Last I heard, sister will get her $15K for the wedding, which is basically $5K because $10K dress, since it's already ordered. The other $10K is being held for something tangible. And then her in-laws are being generous and helping with $15K, $10 to wedding, $5 to honeymoon. As for my schooling, Dad and I are going to the bank tomorrow and we're going to pay the cancellation fee for the loan that I had to take out. The loan only officially starts when I start school, so thankfully the cancellation fee is very small. My dad is paying for the fee because he admits that I should have never had to have taken the loan out. My parents agreed that my first year of university, along with housing costs, will not come out of the budget, the $17K or the $25K, so they will pay themselves. The full amount that they budgeted for me is going to be transferred into something called a TFSA for later in life. Well, Mum and I still have a somewhat rocky relationship. Sister absolutely hates me. She blamed me for everything and said that I have caused irreparable damage to her relationship with her fiancé and her in-laws. Because of this, she has banned me from the wedding and from her life. I honestly don't care. I don't really see it as losing a sister. I see it as losing a bully. I made a promise to my mum and dad that I would never treat my younger sister like that, and I'm going to be the role model that she deserves, and I'm going to be her protector like my brothers and father were for me. I think I covered everything that needs to be covered, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. I am very thankful for the subreddit for teaching me what a real family is about, and for teaching me about boundaries and communication. Have an amazing life, you gorgeous humans. In the comments, so happy for you. Awesome that your dad took responsibility after he found out what was happening. Family therapy, regardless if your sister is part of it, would still be a good idea, I think. Still a big fan of your aunt who was willing to step up, but I'm also team dad now, and right now it seems like you and your mum are on a better path. And you vowing to be the sister to the little one that you would have deserved makes me teary-eyed. So please hold on to that promise and continue being awesome. And OP replies, I will. She deserves a sister, and same with me. Sisterhood is for life. My aunt is my mum's sister, and it's crazy to think they are so different. In case OP's mum ever gets to read this, you failed as a mother. OP replies, she tried her best. My two older brothers, myself, and my younger sister are decent humans. It's just sister who went wild after mum went off the deep end. Your mum enables her due to unfound guilt, and your mum needs therapy. OP replies, she is in therapy now. And now onto the 3-month post update. Hey everyone, figured I would update you since it's been a very long time. I apologize, I lost the login to this account, but I just found it. So onto the update. Family therapy is going really well. My two brothers were given temporary leave to come back to Canada. They were both stationed overseas for a bit. I believe they have to go back after this to help the process along. Our family is getting back on track, and my mum and I are closer than ever. It honestly feels like I have my best friend back. As for my sister, honestly, I don't know what's going on with her. A friend of mine still follows her on social media, and everything seems well. The wedding was moved up to November 26th instead of December 17th like she originally planned. Her and her fiancé have bought a place. Apparently, and this is rumors, she's pregnant. She has cut all of us off, and her fiancé's family is talking crap about us, but we are holding strong. In other, more exciting news, I am loving Ottawa. I go back home once a month for in-person therapy, but I also have 3 virtual sessions monthly. On top of that, my oldest brother is getting married. So while I lost a terrible sister, I gained an amazing sister. She is so sweet, texts me every couple of days, gets me Uber Eats orders when I'm down despite being provinces away. She is so sweet. She asked if I would feel comfortable being her maid of honor. She's an only child and her mom passed away, and I agreed. So by this time next year, I'll have an official new sister. There is not a whole lot else to say, but I also have a boyfriend. He's in the army too, I couldn't get away from it I guess, and very supportive and loving. Our 6-month anniversary is in January, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, thank you so much Reddit. You are all amazing, beautiful, soulful humans, and I hope you all have prosperous, healthy, and fruitful lives. I love you all. In the comments, I'm glad therapy is helping you and your family. At least you aren't a part of your older sister's drama anymore. Not only that, but it sounds like you have an awesome future sister-in-law. OP replies, I don't even refer to her as my sister-in-law. I say she's my sister. She's honestly the best, and I hope she gets to be a mum one day. She has PCOS, which is apparently a fertility problem, but she would be an amazing mother. And now, on to the final update. Hello everyone. A lot of people wanted to know what happened at the wedding yesterday, so I shall provide the update. My family and I were banned from going, but my cousins and friends and her now husband's family filled me in. So not a whole lot happened at the ceremony. The MOG, mother of groom, showed up in an off-white dress, and a few people brought their kids despite it being a child-free ceremony, but no true drama happened until the reception. I somewhat feel bad for my sister because of this, but the MOG invited one of the groom's exes, I guess to hope that it would break them up, but it didn't work. She tried to get between my sister and her now husband, but her husband, and I give him props for this, told her to leave. Honestly, all around it wasn't dramatic. They made it to the altar and are leaving for their honeymoon today or tomorrow. But one thing that was confirmed is my sister is definitely pregnant. At the end of the wedding speeches, the groom said this with a slideshow, and the last slide was an ultrasound picture and baby last name due June 2023. Sorry it isn't much of an update. In the comments, sister and sister's mother-in-law are going to have some epic effing battles. Sounds like she found a new family where she fits right in. That mother-in-law is going to be her own karma. It's probably why the groom fell for bridezilla in the first place. Gosh, she reminds me of my mother. I mean, it's a funny joke and all, but I guarantee he has all sorts of issues that he probably isn't even slightly aware of. And the kid is the one who's going to therapy for all of it 20 years from now. The wedding wasn't dramatic? Bruh, the mother-in-law came in a white dress and brought over the groom's ex without anyone knowing? Ma'am? I don't know. I think given the rest of the story, OP's drama meter is way off. Her sister tried to murder her as a baby. She's probably just normalized the insane level of chaos. And then it became a funny family anecdote. I actually gasped out loud at this whole part, like a 5-year-old tried to murder her sister, and the family's like, oh, ha 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 ha, remember that funny time your sister tried to murder you? Lol, what a crazy little kid she was. The mother got off easy. She literally planned to steal all her kids' rightful money to give to her golden child. Where is her accountability? Right? That's the sort of thing that would make me question my whole marriage to this crazy woman, and we're just glossing over that? Mom probably still feels guilty for leaving her children for 4 months due to her PPD. OP probably understands this and knows just how insanely cruel and manipulative her sister is to play on her mom's lingering guilt. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.